Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video, I'm going to be discussing the topic of AMC theaters and also Regal cinemas, two big, huge movie chains that obviously aren't doing very well within the past year with this whole current pandemic, and obviously with many closures and firings that they've had to do in order to make sure that they actually stay alive, in order for them to also make sure that they can actually come back in a couple of years, maybe even a year or so, to open up their chains so that not only their employees can work, but also they can obviously still make money. And this also is a problem, obviously, for the Hollywood industry of movies and cinema, because the movie theaters are not open. So these big, huge blockbuster movie theater franchises and also companies and or businesses aren't making any money, because most of the movies, obviously, well, if not all, they're not on. They're online. They're not in theaters anymore because of that. Some theaters are open around the country, like little, obviously smaller theaters and independent ones, but the big, huge theaters like AMC, Regal Cinema, anything bigger, like just like them, those movie theaters aren't open. So because of that, and obviously the pandemic, they're not getting any funding, and the smaller ones are getting funding. But you would think that the bigger theaters would obviously be helped out and bailed out, like they always kind of are. Big businesses are. They're the first ones to get bailed out when any type of a relief package comes into play. But this is not the case. So right now I'm on CBR.com, which is comic book reviews. So this article was put out on the December 21st, 2020, which was was about a month ago. It says Congress's pandemic aid package won't help major theater chains. Congress's current COVID-19 pandemic relief bill might only financially help small theaters, while leaving larger theater chains to fend for themselves. So, in this article states that the Congress is currently voting on a new COVID-19 relief bill, which they obviously did, that aims to provide economic aid to theaters and live venues in the form of grants. However, the $15 billion aid package notably excluded large theater chains that are also in need of financial assistance during COVID-19, and obviously disqualifying venues with more than 500 employees and that operate within those businesses, and that's more than 10 states according to THR. That's the Hollywood Reporter. So basically, they're saying that these people who are running these big, huge chains are not able to obviously get this money, but the bigger and smaller ones should. You would think, obviously, get the first obviously stance to actually view their not just view with the bill and obviously express their frustrations, but just to say, well, why aren't we getting help first? Because obviously they have lots of friends in high places, but it seems like the smaller chains obviously are the ones who need the money the most. Obviously, the bigger chains do, but the smaller chains need them the most because they can't run back to obviously their corporate stockholders and obviously business partners to say, can you bail us out with the loan? Because a smaller chain of an independent movie theater company that maybe has 2 or 3 or 4 locations can't just run back to their stockholders or their business partners or another company and say, we're not doing so well, so because of that, can you guys give us a loan? Or they can run to a big bank and get a loan out. And possibly another option they have is they can go to another movie chain and say, well, do you guys want to merge with us? Or do you guys want to buy us out? So a bigger company can say, like AMC can say to Regal, why don't we just combine forces together and let's just do that? A lot of cell phone companies are doing it anyways, and cable companies. You see with Sprint and obviously T-Mobile and other companies. Even with Sprint and Nextel, it happened years ago. They merged together because one company says, you know what, we're not doing so well, so you guys can buy us out and we'll join you. And that's exactly what happens in most cases. It says that. And also another article says that AMC may fully deplete their cash by January, and we're already in January. And the article continues to state that in addition to eligible venues, the venues must have seen a 25% revenue loss within the greater year of 2020 to receive the grant. Based on the bill stipulations, AMC and Regal Theaters, Cinemas, and Cineworld will be disqualified from receiving any grant assistance from the government. Although AMC Theaters reported that 90% of their money has been lost in the third fiscal quarter, and its business size alone would disqualify the company from receiving assistance. Basically, so based off of their how much money they have in total and the size of them, the government stating that the grants that they should have that AMC would not still get because they're still a big, huge, large chain. And I also wanted to point to another article in regards to this, which is on the Verge, and this was put out October 6, 2020, and it says as movies slip, Regal shuts doors again. Regal and other movie theaters may not survive the maelstrom. It says that because of this, Regal Cinemas has obviously had to close a lot of their theaters, and in that it says that they are the second largest chain in the U.S. besides AMC. They're shutting all their doors, and obviously because of this, their parent company, Cineworld, is closing 127 theaters in the UK as well. Over 55,000 people are bound to lose their jobs, and they will be furloughed because of this, and there's no timetable for reopening. And obviously, it seems like it says that it's good news for AMC and Cinemark, because they are the first and third largest U.S. chains, respectively, not following Regal, which is the second largest movie chain in the world. They've each confirmed today that over 80% of their U.S.-based theaters are open and will stay open despite Regal's decision, but that obviously wasn't the case, and that changed, and now they're obviously closed. Because of this and because of this situation, basically, all these movie theaters and chains are going to have hard times opening up, and when they do open up, less people will be coming in because of this whole pandemic, less people obviously are going to be coming to movie theaters because, well, obviously they don't feel safe, and now it's even difficult. You're going to have your kids, if you have kids or if you have a big family, how are you guys going to sit in a theater? Now, the kids, obviously, they'll have to sit by themselves, but things are going to be difficult because now when you guys go into a movie theater with your family, when we all do, there's going to be glasses in front of it. Glass, obviously, big, huge, to separate us. Glasses in between us. Windows, glass windows, obviously screens to separate us. So there's a screen, there's going to be a screen right next to you on the side of you that's going to separate the person that's going to be next to you. So obviously any germs or anything of them breathing or sweating, even sneezing, won't come towards you. That's going to have to happen in every theater. There's going to have to be glass screens up on next to everybody so that obviously germs won't be spreading like that much, and obviously no one can touch your hand very closely, because when you sit down in the movie theater, the only thing separating you is a cup holder. Those are pretty big and wide. Obviously they're kind of long, but that doesn't help you because the person next to you is still very close. Obviously, now you'll still have to come in contact with people when you go to the concession stand or when you're playing games at movie theaters, but when it comes to sitting down, we're all gonna have to be separated by glass windows and obviously shields to protect everyone. And if you have kids, that's even more of an issue, because if you have small kids, how are you gonna do that? They're gonna have to wear a mask, obviously, and obviously they're gonna have to understand and learn that they can't move around like they used to, and this glass shield is going to be here is basically like a window glass shield. To separate the people sitting next to you, and obviously your family members. But that's all going to have to be fixed out, because now movie theaters open up, they're going to have to rearrange all of their seating in their theater. They're going to have to put hand sanitizer stands everywhere in the movie theater, and also on the outside where the bathrooms are at, and by the concession stand. And they're also going to have to make sure that they probably install in their roof, where their ventilation system is, they're going to have to install some type of a germ killer spray in the air, like sanitizer, some type of UV light spray that they can use to kill germs, obviously, like to clean obviously the area. And because not just when the employees pick up the food and trash, that's gonna have to be looked at. Not only that, when one theater is empty, the people that come out of there for the next movie, that come out for one movie, before a new crowd goes in for the next movie, the people go in, obviously the employees are going to have to not just clean up the trash, they're going to have to spray all the chairs down with hand sanitizer, Lysol, wipe them down. They're going to have to do that, and they're going to have to make sure they're all clean before anyone comes in. And obviously a 15 to 20 minute wait is going to have to be the case, obviously, which usually happens anyways before another movie starts, when you have to wait for your turn and your time when you're in line. So that's basically what's happening. And because of this, obviously, smaller movie chains are going to have a problem. but because of this money that they've gotten from the grants from the United States government, that's going to help them out because they're going to have to rearrange all of that, the seating, the food, the concession stand, everything's going to have to be fixed. Social distancing, obviously, so that when you stand in line, not only you're gonna have to stand in line and make sure you're keeping your distance from people when you walk around the zigzag of the line where you obviously are moving obviously your family. We have to wait in line. You have to not only just stand in there, you're gonna have to move back. So they're gonna have to expand the lines and the range of it, so now it's going to be different. You can't just stand next to people all in a bunch. So that's what's going to obviously have to happen in order for that to change, and for people to make sure that they're staying safe, but also for the movie theaters to make sure that they can obviously still open up back up. And obviously, because it's not safe, obviously, we have to think about that with food. With your food being made and people touching your food and stuff, some people obviously don't feel comfortable with that. If it's something that's not an open container, less people will be hesitant to grab something like candy or a bottled drink or water. See, that's fine. That's nothing. You can wipe that off easily. But a hot dog or a soda, I mean, now, but more or less, it's probably better now if those are going to be made pre-made, which they most likely are, and they obviously are for the most part. When you ask for a hot dog or for nachos at a concession stand in movie theaters, you already have them heated up in a little box in a container, and it's usually wrapped up in obviously foil, and obviously not saran wrap, but foil and plastic, and they're usually in a container, so you can just open the container up and you can eat your food, obviously. But now, obviously, that's going to be more prevalent because no one wants their food obviously contaminated with sweat or someone breathing on it because they don't want to get sick. So, but that's easy. Hot dog or nachos can be in a plastic box. It's over right here where we have all the popcorn. It's being heated up, and obviously it's all warm and hot, so someone can just hand it to you. But popcorn's different. Popcorn doesn't come with a top on top of it. It's open. It's a food that's just like an open container of a drink. It's open, so that's different. And what about obviously the other drinks like the people buy obviously Slurpees and or slushies, whatever you want to call those. Either way, how you gonna feel safe with that? But now you could say, well, they could put a top over that. That's true. You could put a top over that, but popcorn, obviously other food that comes from these movie theaters, when it comes to safety first, they're not open. So how are people going to do that? So I'm guessing they'll have to obviously have the popcorn. They have to put tops over them now somehow. Have them already in a box. I don't know. You can do that though. You can just have them already made. And just keep them next to the heating system that they have there, so they're obviously already hot. So when somebody wants one, you just give it to them. It's already warm. So that's what's going to have to happen. But it's just very sad because obviously a lot of these people are out without work. That's obviously the main issue. The big, huge movie theater chains, they're not getting this money, but they're still going to get bailed out some type of way because obviously, like I said, they have shareholders, stockholders, and or business business owners, and obviously friends that they can call to help them out. So either way, they'll still get bailed out. And even if the government doesn't help them, and obviously Hollywood executives and obviously movie companies, like let's just say Paramount, for example, if they wanted to, they could help out some of these movie chain theaters, and that's probably what's going to happen anyways. They're going to help each other out in order to survive. So Paramount or Miramax or Universal, they'll help out each other, and they also help out the movie theater chains as well, just to make sure that they can obviously keep everybody in business and obviously help themselves out. So that's probably what's going to have to happen, and probably what will happen very soon. And obviously they could have been talking about this for the past couple of months now. We don't know, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But that's what has been shown right here on The Verge and about Regal and AMC, and also the article I talked about earlier was on Comic Book Resources or Reviews.com. It's either one. It's called CBR, but it's Comic Book Reviews probably, but it's right here. Yeah, that's what's happening. So that's basically all I have to talk about in regards to AMC and Regal. What's going to have to happen in the future. It's the same thing with like Universal Studios and obviously Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. Things are going to have to be different in order for them to open up because they're such big, huge businesses and or large companies and obviously chains of obviously the entertainment world, not just not franchises obviously, but they're gonna have to make changes in order for their parks to open up, and also for everybody to be safe. Because I remember a couple of months ago, Disneyland, or I believe, had a measles outbreak over there, and some people got sick. So it really depends on what happens, because that could happen randomly too, and a lot of people don't know. But they not only going to check your bag when you come in now, and obviously scan. You have to go through a metal detector, or they use a wand on you, like how TSA does when you go to airport. But they're probably going to most likely check your temperature when you come in. They're most likely going to do that. They're going to check your temperature before you come in. You, your kids, everybody has to have their temperature checked. And and obviously you probably can't bring any open containers in. Well, you can't anyways. Any open containers or food in the theme park as well. So changes will be made, and obviously it's going to be difficult. But as long as the people are still obviously safe, and obviously it's not a big, huge problem, that's great. Obviously, the most important thing is all these people who were without work can get their jobs back. That's the most important thing. But that's all I have to say about this. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about what you think, what should happen, or your discussions about what should AMC do, or Regal, and also, do you feel better off just watching movies at home? Do you want to even go back to an arcade / movie theater chain or franchise that has like a hybrid mix in, like how AMC Theaters has it, and Regal, Edwards Cinema, where you can go in and play video games and you can also watch a movie? Or do you just want to not do that at all? But let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and that's all I have to say. Goodbye.